Hello. Hi,
Hi,
little
how are
bit.
you?
Looking like your mama.
Oh, thank you. How?
So, welcome to Pop Your Shh, since it's the children's books edition.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't want to end my career before it starts.
Girl, let me tell you something, little girl. Little girl, little girl. Now, okay, so if y'all don't know, and I keep calling her little girl because she's not a little girl, she's a young lady. This is my cousin Breanna, and she has written several children's books.
Yes, thank
And
you. Thank you.
if I'm gonna out here promoting authors, why I can't promote my cousin? Point blank, period.
Thank,
So
thank you.
anyway, let's talk.
Yes,
So I found you wrote 3 books.
yes, I did. I wrote three children's books so far. That's just the beginning, to be honest. So hopefully more to come, but three children's books so far.
What made you want to write a children's book?
I just always had a love for books. My parents kind of pushed me to be readers, especially my dad. My dad was very strict about like reading books. I remember when I was like in elementary school, I had to read A Christmas Carol by Charles
Hmm.
Dickens, and I was like in like fourth grade. I read Animal Farm like before I was even in fifth grade. Like these are things that my parents definitely like pushed in terms of like really wanting me to just love books, and I think it definitely translated into my own personal love of books. But one thing I did notice is I am a good storyteller. I like writing. I've always liked writing, even, and I didn't even realize how much I liked writing until more recently. My mom kind of reminded me. And I just remember my mom when I was younger, she would actually tell me stories. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so beautiful. Like I wish this was a book for me to read myself. And I think it's like my mom telling me stories made me want to like do children's books. And I think that that really started my passion. So I think, you know, both my dad and my mom kind of helping me understand the value of books and the beauty of books really brought this to my attention and eventually my career path.
So, okay, will you? And I'm gonna go out of order because I had it in order,
No worries.
honey. I had it in order, but we're gonna go out of order because I'm just gonna go based on the conversation. So, do you think you'll ever write like young adult or teen books or adult books? Where do you see your career going?
Um, I definitely do have an adult book in mind that is very different. I've been writing it, but it takes a little longer than children's books for different
Yeah.
reasons. But I definitely have some things that I do want to do for a different audience. I do really have a passion for doing children's books, but I think that there's at least one or two stories that I could see kind of doing adult books. And I don't know, I've never really considered a teen book, but that might be somewhere to go. I think I'm going children, then adult, and then I might come back down somewhere in between. So I do have a desire to kind of venture out a little bit. So
Okay. So
thank you for asking.
I'm nosy.
Okay.
Listen, call me nosy Rosie.
Yeah.
What kind of adult book are we talking?
So
What?
I can
Where
actually
are we going, ma'am?
yeah, no, actually I can give you a exclusive sneak peek. I don't think I've ever really talked about it publicly too much. Essentially it is going to be a novel about an individual who's working in a psychiatric hospital, and it's actually inspired by my own experience as well, I am now a therapist. However, coming up and going to school, I worked in a hospital where I just learned a lot, and essentially I kind of want to create like a mystery suspenseful kind of novel in that type of setting, but it's really just going to be inspired by, you know, a lot of the patients that I kind of met along the way. And I think I kind of am drawing inspiration from those experiences. And I just remember it being a very valuable time for me of just like learning about people, but it was also interesting. And I think it's the way I kind of see it is kind of putting a tool of teaching about, you know, things in terms of mental health, but also telling stories about people that is suspenseful and interesting, but also accurate. Again, one thing that I am going to strive for in a book like this is that I'm not portraying for the drama, but I'm portraying for accuracy, because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about, you know, mental health in the system. So I would love for it to still have a element of truth that's still storytelling, but in a way that is interesting and real and eye-opening.
Okay. So will your pen name be different from your children's books?
I probably will. I haven't gotten that far, but I probably will, just because it's a little different. I just would like to separate the audience a little bit, because I like my children's books to be my name, because it's something that speaks to my heart. Whereas these other books that I might do, they are important, but they're just a different type of importance. So I think they can kind of fit in a different place and on a different shelf under a different name a little bit.
That's what I'm doing because I don't know if you know, but I'm writing as well. So I have some adult books that's coming out. Yeah, I
Okay.
know I don't have, yeah, but you already know I don't have the sense that God gave me.
Must run in the family.
But most of them. So the first piece is coming out in an anthology, and it's erotic.
Ooh,
Don't
spicy
tell your
book.
don't tell your grandmother. Dee Dee,
Okay.
don't you tell your mama. Even though she know I'll be on here talking real greasy.
I'll keep it a secret. I'll tell them to,
But the second book is more so based off my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
So that's the inspiration of that, because I don't know if y'all knew, but my grandfather was an alleged loan shark. And so I have a title. I love it. But it will be under a different pen name. And the reason being is I still work full time. So I still need to keep my job until this can become my full time job. I can make what I'm making. So that's the reason behind it. But let's talk more about the children's book. So can you give me the titles of your children's book?
Yes, I can. So my very first book, which I published in 2020, is called Tristan the Tiger's Adventures. And then my second book is called Kai the Kitten's World of Color. And then my third book is called E is for Empathy. And that's the one I have right here today. I had to have a little bit of a prop. So those are my three books. And they are all very important to me and special, but they definitely have a different purpose, which is kind of my favorite thing about each one of the books. And I cherish them a lot. So yeah.
I'm excited. I'm so excited for you. Okay, so the second book, Kai's, what is it
Kai,
called?
the Kitten's World of
So
Color.
is that my god
Yes,
granddaughters?
it is. That is who is the beautiful inspiration. I borrowed her name and I made her a cute little kitten. And when I wrote the book with her in mind, essentially, I thought about, okay, what would I want her? What can I teach her? What can I give her that she can have for the rest of her life, but also still teach her and children like her? Because I personally don't have any kids, but I want to be able to give something to kids, of her age. And I thought teaching them colors in a fun way, in a way that would make them remember, in a way that's simple, digestible. It's a teaching tool. It's a beautiful book in terms of the illustration. I use the same illustrator for all three of my books at this point. So that was very important to me. And I just thought it was beautiful. And I love the alliteration of the K, so Kai the kitten. And actually, I did a very similar thing for my first book as well. My nephew, whose name is Tristan, he is the featured tiger in my series. And again, I looked at him and I was like, what do I want to be able to give to him for him to be able to take, but learn from, share? And now they're both at the age where they recognize that that's their name. That's them, like in the books. And I think it's really beautiful. And I just enjoy sharing. And it's so funny because it's so funny. Just last week, I was on FaceTime with Kai. And she's like, oh, Bree, can I show you something? And she holds up my book. She's like, do you remember this book? And I said, girl, remember it? I wrote it. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And it was just a really nice feeling because I don't think we had ever had that conversation. I know
Oh,
when I published it, she was very, very little, but I knew one day we were going to have a conversation where she was going to be able to read that book back to me. And we are there. And I mean, she could read it backwards and forwards now. And I just think it's just one of the most beautiful things that I was able to give to, her as well as my nephew. And hopefully I have a few more books in the tank for other children in my life. So I'm looking forward to having that same experience very soon.
good. So let me ask you a question. Is that an easy process to go through as far as writing children's books? Because I know I be pulling my hair out writing this book. And even though I know a lot of authors and they could just spit it out. I'd be like, okay, I can't say this word 87 times because I'll say the same word over again. But you have to be creative. Is it easier to you writing this children's book?
I think it's actually harder. One thing that I struggle with is like I like to speak, and I am remembering that I'm speaking and also writing for a certain age group. So I'm like, I need to put words that children can understand. So it's changing the way I write, and that does make me think, but I think it's a good exercise, and it makes it challenging, not hard. But I think it's important because I think it allows for me to really dig deep. And like you said, if you're using the same word over and over again, it's like you can find a different word, and it just opens up your vocabulary. It kind of opens up this idea of like, okay, how can I say this where it flows, where it's easy to pronounce if we're talking about children's books, and also it still is true to the point in which you were trying to get to anyway. So I found it challenging, but a good challenge, and it's a creative challenge for me.
Right. All right, all right, all right. So, um, you answered most of the questions.
No worries.
Besides mystery and children's books, what genres do you hope to write in
To be
your career?
honest, I actually would like to do more of a self-help type of book. My background is in psychology, and I think that I would like to kind of speak on a more, first person experience, potentially do something along like anthologies where I'm gathering other people's experiences. I'm not really sure. I do want to kind of go a different route into the nonfiction world, but I definitely want it to be from I guess I would like to use my education a little bit. I think I've worked hard to understand the things that I understand, and I think putting it in a book form for somebody that like I wish I had that kind of book. So I'm hoping to put something on the shelf very similar to that.
Okay, so in this political climate, we have a lot of books being banned. Um, we have a lot of, especially by Black authors. Some of the authors a little more spicy than others. What's your take on books potentially being banned, especially for children, with the Department of Education being a thing of the almost being a thing of the past? Children are not reading at their current grade level. What's your take on all of that?
Well, I'll say even better. My response to that is why I wrote this book well before knowing it was going to be needed. At some point in this political climate, the idea of people having empathy was seen as a weakness, was actually called a weakness, a problem. And I think that it really speaks to the importance of why we really need to be teaching these skills to children. I think it's important that we understand the value of not creating censorship, especially around Black voices, marginalized voices, because we are not going to get the experience we need from other people. We are not going to learn. We are not going to have the conversations we need to be better as people. So I think it's a slippery slope. It's a dangerous game. And it makes me upset to think that children's books that I may have come across as a kid and that were very valuable in my learning and my shaping the world and being able to learn something outside of the home might be taken off the table. And I would hope that with that, we don't get discouraged. We think of, okay, let's bring this into our homes. I understand we often may have used the education system to help, expand our children's minds. I would hope that if that is on the table, certain books are on the shopping block, seek them out yourself to bring into the home and share with your children, not let those traditions die, because again, I think it's just a valuable thing of learning. It's an area to bring in things that you are just not
Right.
going to get inside the home. And I think it is the onus on everybody to expand everybody's mind. So share with your community, share with the people you love, share what's important to you and why it's important. And that is how it kind of trickles, and that's how it keeps it alive. So I just want to encourage people not to be discouraged. Keep sharing.
Well, not to be discouraged, but sometimes you have to take the responsibility of making sure your kids are getting the education that they're supposed to, even though you may not have it,
Right.
even though you may struggle with things. you still have to figure out a way to ensure that your children are being educated, because the one thing, and I say this all the time, my friend group knows this, my community knows this, and I'm big on preaching it. The one thing that they want to do is make you stupid, make you dumb. They want to take away everything from you so that they can figure out how to control you. If you're not smart, then guess what? You have to do what they want you to do. So, parents, if you're in here, or if you have nieces and nephews or little cousins or whatever the case may be, make sure, I mean, buying a book is a good gift. You have to make reading cool.
Yeah.
People think reading is not cool. They think that it's you're a nerd. And hell, I might be a nerd because I will sit in the corner in a minute. I don't care where I'm at and pull out my phone or my Kindle or whatever it is that I got going on and quietly go read my book and disconnect.
Yeah.
But again, reading, you have to, as a parent or older cousin or whatever it is that you are, help, you guys got to help these kids, because again, our education system is failing us. So off of that subject, let's move on to some more subjects. What do you hope to accomplish by being an author?
That's an interesting question because and I apologize, my answer is not the best.
That's
I'm
okay.
not really seeking out to accomplish anything. I feel like I've already, like, in terms of what I wanted to accomplish, I wanted to put out a book. I wanted to put out something that was special to me, and I did that. So everything else is like on top. My accomplishment was met, and everything else I'm just joyful to be learning and being able to do and experience. And I kind of like that for myself. I like that this is an open ended, I just get to soak in everything that comes with writing books, putting out books, developing my craft as a writer. And I think that that's kind of the best part for me. I think that I have always been a very goal oriented, like, do and, get this type of thing. And this is one of the areas where it's like, it's an open-ended thing. I can just keep going without that feeling. And I feel very grateful for that. So my accomplishment, or what I hope to accomplish continuing on, is to continue to do it and to continue to have that passion and that energy to put out more books of things that I feel passionate
Right.
about. Would be my best answer for that.
But that's the perfect answer.
Okay.
You accomplished what you were supposed to do. So, like for me, my thing is to, and my friend group knows this, and hopefully my friends know that my goal is to put out 10 books. That's
Okay.
it. That's it. I might, if it drives me to put out more, then so be it. But my goal is to put out these 10 books about this family, and if I can derive something else out of that, then, that's icing on the cake. But that's my goal. And once I've done that, I've accomplished that goal, then I can move on to the next.
Right.
Whether that goes into publishing, whether that goes into consult and market for authors, because again, Black authors, independent authors, they have it rough. They don't make the same money as some of their white counterparts. So my goal is to help even the playing field. So
Okay. And I'm glad that I know you, and I'm glad that everybody that gets to come in contact with you is getting to know you so you can help us do that, because I do think it's important. I think that your passion for books and your passion for this work is super important and super needed, especially because this space, there's not a lot of us helping us out. And also, people in
right.
general are just not as excited with books as they should be. And yeah, that's a judgment. People should be more excited about books, in my opinion.
Right. Because they're trying to take it away from
Yeah.
you. They're banning books in Florida. They're banning books in this state or this school or this, they're taking stuff out of the libraries. It's not whatever he be saying. It's DEI, whatever the hell that fool says. It'd be too much.
Right.
What type of books do you enjoy reading?
I'm a big psychological thriller book person.
Mm-hmm.
I just I don't know what it is about like those types of books where it's twists and turns and there's, it's a little dark and eerie. And also another thing that I've kind of noticed that I've gotten into particularly this year is I really am noticing I like books that have a movie adaptation
Mm-hmm.
along the way somewhere. So like books that either were adapted from a book or vice versa. I've really gotten into because I just find it very interesting how they take words on a page and adapt them to screen. And so that's kind of been my other area, which is like pretty niche, but I would just say mostly psychological thrillers for the most part.
Who are some of your favorite authors?
So one of my favorite authors, his name is Will Dean. I believe he's based in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of like a mystery psychological thriller author. He's really good. I really like the author of The Lovely Bones, Alice Sebold.
Mm-hmm.
She's another author that I really like. But yeah, I have a few, but I definitely read random authors. As far as like biographies, I don't know why I'm blanking on her name right now. Jennifer. She's an actress. She's on Blackish. Uh,
Jennifer
older
Lewis.
woman. Yes, Jennifer Lewis. She has two. Thank you so much. She has two autobiographies. It's like Mother of Black Hollywood
Right.
is one, and then she had one more recently. Her books are very good too. She's also technically she would count as one of my favorite authors. I don't know why I blanked on her name though.
Shannon, I'm going to call out some names for her that I think she will find some interest in. I'm going to give you a couple of
All right,
names,
and I got
okay?
a pen, and I'm gonna start writing some stuff down.
Okay, so Kaylin Hunt is a good one. Kaylynn Hunt. Octavia Grant. They've written several books together and separately. Tony LaRue, uh, Lynette King is a good one. Linnet, something like that. I can't remember. Lynette King. Just type Lynette King. I'm sure she'll come up. There's a bunch of others. I just interviewed one lady and I can't think of what. Tanisha Stewart. She has a couple. I think she's my favorite right now.
Okay.
Tanisha
And any
Stewart.
particular piece of work from Tanisha Stewart, since you said she's your favorite right now, that I should
Uh,
start with?
Um, she has this psychological thriller, The Patient. Uh, what was the other one? It's in my Kindle. I'll text you.
Yeah, please
I'll
do.
text you the ones
Is
that I've read.
the title "The Patient" already is on my like completely like on my theme of what I like. So
Yeah,
I'm
she
already
has like, oh, The Bridesmaid, The Patient. It was another one. There was a couple of more. With Kaylin Hunt, anything she writes.
okay.
Anything
I will have to
she
check that
writes.
out.
Uh,
I actually need to add to my reading list. So thank you so much for that.
yeah, Highway 725 is one of my faves. That's where Kaylin Hunt and Octavia Grant, they collab.
Okay.
Um, there is another series. I can't think of it, but I'll text it to you. I can't think of the name and I don't want to give you misinformation, but I'll text you that
Thank
information.
you.
But uh, those are some of my favorite authors in that genre.
Oh,
Um, so we're going to ask some fun
all
questions.
right.
We're going to ask some fun questions. Um, what do you love about being an author and what do you dislike about being an author?
Okay. So, what do I love about being an author? I like being able to bring the thoughts in my head into a book. And I think it even adds an extra bonus that it's a children's book because it has to have that component of like, the pictures. So, I think that that's like my favorite thing. It's just a way to, like, I feel like I have a very, like, when I think it's very vivid. It's like I can kind of see it in my head as like a story or like a scene. And it's really nice to be able to put it into pages. So that's definitely like my favorite thing about being an author. And then also I just like being able to just tell a story. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just interesting for me to write something down that somebody could read at any moment in time and just connect with. Like it's so funny that you asked this because my mom had found a book that I had written. I think I was maybe in sixth grade, and it was like I had I like made it out of like cardboard paper and stuff like that, all the stuff. And it was like a really good book. And my mom found it. She's like, oh my, she texted me. She's like, this book is like really good. And I was like, what? I like remember it, but I don't remember what it was about. So then when I went to go see her the next couple of days, she like was like, read the book. And she like sat in the room and made me like read it out loud. And I was like, dang, this book is like really good. And it was like a children's book that I did for a project. And my mom was upset because in my project, I got a C. Like I got a C on it.
There, first of all, all right, listen, Didi plays no game behind her child.
She didn't, because there was a note on there like, oh, the grade was changed. So my mom had to have said something, and then I got a B. But I was like, it's still a good, solid book. Like,
Right.
so it's actually something my mom was like, I need you to publish this. And like, my mom still has beef with this teacher. We don't even know who gave me this grade, but my mom was like, this was a good book. I think where I lost points, if I'm going to be honest, is I had to do the illustration. I now pay people to do the illustration because I know for good and dang well I can't draw. So moving forward, I think that that's where we fixed it. But the writing part, I had down from back then. So that's my favorite, part of being an author is being able to, again, write something in a moment in time and it still resonate and connect in some way years down the line, past me being there. And I don't even have to be the one to present it.
If your mama got beef, we all got beef.
Unfortunately for that person who gave me that seat, I get it. It is what it is. Like, I can't do nothing for them. I tried. But to answer the second half of your question, what is my least favorite thing about being an author? There's not too much to like dislike, if I'm gonna be honest. I have yet to find it. I think maybe my least favorite thing is people being like, okay, so when are you gonna write the next book? And I was like, oh, okay. I feel a little pressure to keep writing. So maybe that's my least favorite thing, but I still wouldn't say it's my least favorite thing. It's just one of those things that happens because it just, to me, it just says people are eager and they like what I do and they're very supportive. So it's not a bad thing, but that's kind of where I stand. And my mom is saying something.
She
When she
said when they
published,
published it, they got sent.
that would be my mom. And like we said, Didi has beef. And as you can
Listen,
see,
Didi got beef, we all got beef. And if your mama got beef, your grandmama got beef. And your grandmama is nobody to play with.
definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Okay, so speaking of writing a book and your mom, what does support look like for you?
I have a lot of support. You are my support. Being here is my support. I have more support than I have books. And I don't think that's a bad problem, but I just know that everybody is excited. Everybody is there for me. Everybody is interested, invested. They want to give me platform. They want to give me a help. They want to do whatever they can to help support me, which is
Absolutely.
very beautiful. And it's something that I know that not everybody is fortunate enough to have. And I'm just very grateful for it. Yeah, I have inspiration. I think that's the best part. Like, not only do I have support, but I definitely draw inspiration from the people that I have in my life. And that's where I get names for my characters. That's where I get inspired to tell these stories. So I think that it's like the best thing I could have is all the support from my family. And it's everybody. I don't think I've met a single person that's like, stick to your day job. So, and I like my day job, if I'm being honest.
That's funny. What's the one thing you will always include in your books?
The one thing I will always include in my books is a message. I think it has intent and purpose, and that's what I'm always going to do. And I just think it's important to have an understanding of, okay, this is what I'm setting out to do with this book, because that's how I get to check if I reached my goal. If I don't have any intent or like desire, I'm just putting things out. It doesn't have a message, and I don't think it speaks to my character of the kind of person I am. I think I'm very intentional about the things that I do. So having a message is something that you'll always see in one of my books. It might be a silly message. It might be a fun message. It might be a serious message. It might be an honest message, but it's going to be a message.
Okay. Do you outline children's books? I've always wondered that.
I do. I actually do. It looks a mess, and I'm like, it's so funny because I'm surprised that it looks like what I have in my head and how it turns out. What I do is I use my little digital notebook, and I do the writing part of it, but I even outline like a storyboard of what I think I want the illustrations to be. But they are horrible because I cannot draw, but I'm like, okay, this is what I want, but actually draw it for me. So I do outline everything. And even though the content of the books isn't the most difficult in terms of spelling and, grammar, syntax, all that stuff. Like, that's the easy part. I still like to outline it all out to kind of figure out how I want the flow, because I'm also trying to think of it like, how does this look? Is this too overwhelming? Is this too fast paced? And I find that outlining my book, even if it's like literally like 5 words on a page, is very helpful for me.
Good. All right. Let's ask some questions about you.
This is where it's dangerous.
No, it's not hard. It's not hard. What would your readers or your fan base be shocked to know about you?
I think they would be shocked to know that I don't actually work with children in my work. Like, I think my I guess occupation and like my personal life doesn't really, like, you would think that I'd be like more in track with being like a teacher or somebody that like works with kids, and that is not the population that I work with. And I actually don't feel like I'm qualified, even though I write children's books. I don't feel qualified to work.
People not feel that way, girl. You are probably one of the most educated people on this earth.
Yes,
doctor.
Thank you, and again, I appreciate that, but I am not nearly as like like, that beauty, like that beautiful like cheeriness that my mom has. I have like a fourth of that, so that bubbliness, and I think that you kind of need that a little bit more working with kids. So I'm like, okay, I don't have that. I'm a little more stern. I'm a little more like
maybe that's what's needed in schools.
Valid point. But I feel like the best way I can do that and give that sense of my personality, that bubbliness, is to, give him a children's book. That is my way of doing that, since I know I might not have the patience, but I can give a teacher a tool to use,
right,
to give that to them. And that is my contribution, and that's me giving my best contribution. So I think it would shock people to know that I don't work with kids. I never have been really called to work with children, and these are the children that I really like write for.
I'm actually shocked. And let me tell you why I'm shocked. Because you seem like you have the patience of Job. I didn't know. I didn't know your patience. Well, I mean, it's a family trait, because nobody has patience, but maybe your mama.
Right.
Because your grandmama don't have it.
She might hop on this live, so I'm going to keep quiet on that note. But I heard what you said.
I'm scared a little bit.
Fair enough. I got to see her tomorrow, so I can't start no fights that I can't win.
Okay. I love her though. What was the question? Oh, describe yourself in one word.
Myself in one word: extra. I would describe myself as extra. That's the best like word I can describe myself. I think my personality is very much present. I bring a little extra, and I love that about me. My family has come to very much value and appreciate that about me. But yeah, and my friends have just had to learn to deal with it, and it's worked out so far. But extra would be the word to describe me. I think that's just my thing.
Okay, I found something else that I think people would be shocked to know about you. You answer this question. You tell me if you answer the question. Who is the creator of Grandma's Garden?
So the creator of Grandma's Garden is a team effort combined with the talent, who is Miss Legetta Wayne, aka my grandmother, and the technological marketing wizard that is Kiera, my little cousin. And it is them, Kiera, combining just her like savviness around technology and just social media, and tying that with my grandma's like true passion for gardening and cooking, and Miss Grandma's Garden was born. I just come in to read the contracts and, help organize a few things, but that is really their project that I am so grateful to be a part of. And it's something that I am very, it's a once in a lifetime experience that not everybody gets. And I'm just so grateful that this opportunity has fallen into my grandmother's lap, in Kiera's lap, and it's been something that they've been able to do. And I am just happy to be along for the ride. But yes.
You know your grandmother is famous.
Yes. My grandmother it's definitely one of the most interesting things about me. And again, I've written children's books, and yet my grandma being TikTok famous and social media famous is by far the most interesting thing about me. And I love that every day. And it's very funny because a lot of the people that didn't know my grandma who know me, like I am small potatoes when they finally see her. They're like, oh, I thought this was as much as it gets. And then they see my grandma and they're like, oh, there's another one of you that is, in my opinion, a lot more fancy, a lot more ba boom, and I love it, and they love it, and she loves it. She is a
But
diva.
what's funny to me is, okay, so I don't know if people don't know in the chat and that's listening to this, her grandmother and my mother are cousins. Okay, we're all cousins, but they were best friends. Like you didn't see one without the other, and it was a lot of foolishness, tomfoolery going on. And I, I look at her grandmother as a second mom. So behind that lady, you know why she over there smiling? She know we coming with pew pews are blazing behind that lady. And for her at 80 something
Yes.
to create a TikTok about gardening and cooking and doing commercials and things like that, you're never too old. That's the lesson I've learned. You're never too old to learn something new or do something
Yes.
new. That lady is 80 something.
She is in her 80s. She has gotten a contract with, very big brand deal names doing ads and sponsorships and partnerships. And she started this in her 80s, late 70s, like, and has, gathered a lot of followers and just people who genuinely love what she creates. And I was like, okay, well, let's do this. And it, again, I think the way it makes her smile, like, I don't know. And again, my grandma has a lot to be happy about in life. She has a beautiful family. I think
Yeah.
we just love the environment we grew up with. I don't know if I've ever seen her smile more than when she's on her phone, on her TikTok, talk about, oh, did you see somebody wrote this comment about me? Ooh, so like my video. Like, again, there is a different level of joy that I get to see with my grandmother on social media. And the fact that I get to share my grandma with millions of people all over the world it's beautiful. I think there's no other word to describe it besides beautiful
But
and fun.
she is my inspiration. She's always been my inspiration in that if she can do this, then whatever it is that I'm passionate about, I can do it too.
Right.
So thank you for helping her because it helps all of us
Yeah.
look at someone who gives so much zest, so much life into something and say, hey, if she can do it, let me get off my behind
Mm-hmm.
and do it too. I mean, do it my way and do whatever it is that I'm doing. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
No, thank you. And yes, my grandma on all the social medias, Miss Grandma's Garden. She loves doing her thing, and I'm just happy to be again along for the ride. Happy to support, but I'm really proud of what her and Kier have been able to create. And it's been a family effort here and there. Everybody's contributed in some way or another, but it's really beautiful to see what she's created for herself.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about a few more questions about you.
Okay.
Name something everybody loves, but you hate.
Something that everybody loves, but I hate. I don't know if it's everybody, but I'll say a lot of people like the ocean and beaches, and I cannot do that. I just can't. I don't do sea creatures. I don't do that open water with the sea creatures, like the sand. Not, I like sun, but I really don't want to damage my skin, so I'm a big fan of sunscreen. So it's just a lot of combination of things that I don't really care for that people like live for. People like travel far and ride to go to like the beach, and I'm like, or I could stay home.
I, I didn't know that. I learn something new every day. Um, what hates to see you coming?
Hmm. What hates to see me coming?
I'm gonna say this week DoorDash.
Oh, really? DoorDash? To be honest, what hates to see me coming is lately the pool, which is interesting because my last answer was I don't like the ocean. The pool hates to see me coming. I love to swim. I love to listen to my music in the pool and swim. And I know, especially at my place where I live now, our pool's heated, but the heater's been broken. And I know those people at the complex that work there hate to see me coming because they know I'm going to use the pool. They know I want the pool right. So it's just, they hate to see me coming. And the pool hates to see me coming because it's like, oh, she going to get in here and splash around and she going to be here all day, dilly-dallying. Yeah, I know the pool hates to see me coming more recently. And it's okay.
I love it. I love it. All right. Fill in the blank. Blank is life.
Music is life. I love music. I love listening to music. I'm a very, I think I learn about the world through just taking in things, audioly. Like I'm a very auditory type of learner. But I'm a big fan of music, and I just think it brings, like, there's something for every mood. There's something for every vibe. There's something for everything you're doing. That is always appropriate when it comes to music. So I would say music is life.
Okay. My pen is, and I'm sorry for the dogs barking. I don't know what's outside, but they losing their
They letting you
mind.
know. So I'm sorry.
My
Can you repeat
pen
the
is
question?
blank.
My pen is digital. And I guess I'll answer that with, yeah, my pen is digital. I don't know what it is, but I moved to using a digital notebook. And I something about it just makes I feel like it makes me more creative. I feel like I can do things on the go. I think it's a very interesting way for me to, write on the go, write and store it safely. And I just love that I moved, like I took the leap of, if I'm gonna do this writing thing, I want to do it in a way that helps the environment by me not just using a bunch of paper and that consumption piece. And so my pen is digital because it allows me to write anywhere, everywhere, all the time, and I have unlimited space to do so.
Okay. Um, in 5 years, where do you see Brianna's books?
In 5 years, I would like to see Brianna's books on shelves, in bookstores more, and more books to go on those shelves. And then I would hope that I really just kind of get a chance to continue to bring books to schools, kind of do more partnerships in terms of like bringing it to places where kids are at. I think right now it's a little just kind of in my own bubble. I am able to share it, and the books have kind of been across the world in a lot of different areas, but I definitely would like to be a little more hands-on, and I would hope that Brianna's books will be a active participant in like taking books to schools, to libraries, to boys and girls clubs, to these different entities to help get them in the hands of the children that I write them for. So I definitely would like for that to be like the next thing. I think when I released a lot of these books, it started around the time of COVID. So the ability to do a lot of those things that I would have done just wasn't really there. I have sent books, to different schools, to different foundations, which has been nice. But I would hope to kind of do a little bit more where I get to see kids actually reading the books myself a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. Um, do you want to become traditionally published, or would you like to stay independent?
I honestly wouldn't mind staying independent. I definitely wouldn't close a traditional publishing route if it were available to me. But again, I think that it never has been like my goal of like it has to be this way. I think my books and like what I'm really proud of is just them being in the world and they are accessible. So I don't think I have I would never stop an opportunity for them to get out further, but I don't think going the independent route limits you from that. I just think you have to go about it a different way in terms of business. So yeah, I can't say that I necessarily have any goal of being, traditional publishing route, but I definitely wouldn't stop a good opportunity, especially because anything that I put out is very important to me. And I think that the passion of just putting out projects that mean a lot to me is the most important thing. So how they get out there, I'm open.
All right, publishers. Make sure you come correct.
That part. What she said.
Make sure y'all come correct. You see my eye. It's twitching. Um, Let's see. Any more questions? Any more questions? No. So we're getting ready to pop your shh. Okay. So do you anticipate dropping any books this year?
Do I anticipate dropping any books this year? I mean, I will never say never. I can't say that I have any particular drop deadline right now. But I would say that there's a good chance that something can come out. I just don't have, I can't make any promises, but I don't think it's impossible or too far off the timeline.
Okay. Okay. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Breanna's Books, and then as well on Facebook at Breanna's Books. And coming soon, I'm in the process of revamping my website, so I do apologize, but my website would be at breannasbooks.com. That's where you can find me. And then as far as where you can find my books, they are on all major retailers across the world. I'm not going to name all of them, but you know where you find books. And also, you can just type me in. You'll be able to find me. And you'll be able to find a place where you can get some books, I promise.
Okay. Okay. And oh, my favorite question. My favorite. I got two questions that I'm loving. If you no, I'm gonna ask this one. If you can invite 5 authors to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
5 authors to dinner, dead or alive. Okay. Now, would I be cheating if I pick somebody who wrote like an autobiography? Okay.
No,
All right.
they wrote a book, didn't
True that. Okay. So who am I inviting? I would definitely invite Lois Lowry, the author of The Giver. That was just such a formative book, and I think it just speaks to a lot of what was going on, or just what's going on right now in a very interesting way. And when the book was written, it was about like in this dystopian time period. So I think that there would just be a good conversation. Um, I, I, I guess I would. I would definitely invite the Obamas, both of them, Michelle and Barack as a couple, because I would just have to. But also, I think one of the things that I really love is I don't know if you're familiar with Michelle's journal component to her book.
you? Mm-hmm.
I just think, the power of having a journal, having those prompts, it's something that I regularly use in my own practice and therapy, is just so beautiful, and it's just so helpful and insightful. So I think that those two, obviously, just also they're the Obamas, and I would love to meet a president. And his wife. That's just a thing. Another person I would invite who is an author is actually somebody that I would have for dinner anyways. One of my friends, her name is Trinice Sabin, formerly Trinice Ferreira. She is an up and coming author, currently working on publishing her own children's book. I've actually known her since before I really could read a book myself. She was a voracious reader, and she has kind of really taken her passion into writing, and she will be publishing her book very soon. She's a very wonderful, very talented author. She's actually published a book before, but she's going to be doing a new endeavor really soon. So I would invite her. So I have 4 people so far.
Mm-hmm.
The
One
5th
more.
person, I'm inviting you, Nicole.
Yeah.
You.
No, you fine.
I gotta mix it up. I gotta do friends, family. I did go a traditional route with doing Lois Lowry. Darn it, I should have said Dr. Seuss too. See, no, I can't kick people off the list now. So I have 6 people. I also have Dr. Seuss.
How about this? You can invite Dr. Seuss, and I will serve the cocktails.
Okay, there we go. That counts. Although
We can do that.
you
We
know
can
that
do
you
that.
really got invited, but we opened up a space.
Too funny. All right. So, any advice on writing children's books?
My biggest piece of advice is write what you know and write it in a way to teach somebody that doesn't know. And I think just kind of following that sense of like, okay, I know this, and if I were to teach it for somebody who doesn't know this, this is why I'm teaching it and why it's important. I think we learn so differently. So yeah, there might be a book that teaches the same thing, but they're not going to teach it the way you do. So I would always encourage people, don't let that discourage you. Write what you know, and it will resonate with the person it's supposed to resonate with. And I think it's just important that we have so many different ways around teaching the same thing, because
Right.
it's what's being taught that's the most important, not who's doing the teaching. So
Adia, you can get it on Amazon because she's
Yes.
gonna buy your books.
Oh, yes.
All right. So I have to pop my shh.
Yes, please.
And so I have one more interview for the end of this month, which is author A. Lewis. That will be tomorrow. I mean, on Sunday on TikTok at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So A. Lewis is a good person. Y'all better be in there on this live because when I tell you A got the plug, she got the plug. As a lot of you know, oh, let me finish with who's on Poppy Shit. So on, I'm sorry, I got notes everywhere. So for May 1st, I have Marked by Tylee. She is an editor. She's a good editor too, Breanna. Keep her in mind.
Okay.
Marked by Tylee. She will be on, normally my interviews are on TikTok, so she will be on TikTok. Britt and her book, she's a content creator. She will be talking all about content creation. We'll learn a little bit more about Britt and her foolishness and mayhem. And it will be a time because it's Britt. And I love her. I will, Adia. Um, and then Sunday, May 4th, I have author Tina J. She's an author and a publisher. So she will be on at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So and then the last one I'm going to tell you guys about is the Urban Tea Room. That's Natalie. So what Natalie does is she has a tea company, and what she does is she makes teas for characters.
Ooh, that's so cute.
And her tea is so good. It is so good. So Natalie will be on. So she's done the Potts book, Product of the Street. She's done Devil Wears Baccarat. She's done Devil Wears Baccarat. It's another one. Jaquel's book. She does the Delgados, and she's now doing one for a fantasy book. And I'm so excited about that because I want to taste those teas too. So she has their loose leaf tea. She gives you a really cute package when you order her book boxes, and it comes with the character teas, and I think it's enough for two. And then for each character, she gives you the little tea diffuser thing, and she gives you a coffee mug, I mean, a teacup or a coffee mug with the Urban Tea Room logo on it, and a lot of knickknacks in the box. It is such a cute thing.
That is such.
So go ahead.
I said that is such a cute concept. It's something so
It
meta
is.
about
It's
sipping tea
different.
while you're reading the character. It's
Right.
very
Right.
enveloping.
So that I love that. I have an event coming up next year for it's a book event. It's a book retreat. So we will be going to Napa. The limit is 100 ladies or men or whomever is coming. It's a 3-day event, September 4th through the 6th, which is Labor Day weekend. We will be doing a tour of Oakland, San Francisco. We will be doing, I think it's Sausalito and Half Moon Bay. We also will be doing a tour of the countryside of Napa. So we'll be doing 5 wineries, Visa Tui, Sutter, because it's across the street from Visa Tui, so there's no point in us leaving that.
Right.
Castle de Amorosa, which is a real life castle, Chandon, and Mums. So that'll be Saturday, and then Saturday night is a game night, which will be a lot of fun. Lots of prizes, lots of prizes. And then on Sunday, we we'll be downtown Napa, so we'll be going to a restaurant, a black-owned restaurant in downtown Napa, where we will go. Hold on, Adia. Where we'll go and have brunch, and then we will have. There's a black winery, which is called um, Brown Estates, and then there is a black wine store.
Huh?
So you'll be able to do downtown Napa. It's a lot of walkable wineries or tasting rooms downtown Napa, which will be a great time. And then on Friday night of that event, it will be a dinner. So that will be a lot of fun. She did give her socials. She said Facebook and Instagram, Breanna's
Yes.
Books. I will text you the information, Miss Ma'am. So that's my sister, y'all. If y'all didn't know who
Hi,
all gonna be
cousin.
there.
And also, I've never been to Napa like as an adult, even though I live close. I've never been. So that sounds like a very fun agenda. Very nice.
Brianna,
Yes.
Brianna, Brianna, you live right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no excuse. But
That's shocking to know. You have never been to Napa?
not like I've never been to a Napa winery, but it's neither here nor there. I haven't been yet. We're gonna fix that very soon. Don't worry. See?
I'm gonna beat your mama behind. Auntie, somebody needed to have taken you. Don't worry about it. We got you. Um, all right. So you guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Substack, IG, TikTok, and my website. All the links are in my bio, in my link tree. I do have merch for sale, so I have this hoodie that I'm selling, and then I also have a T-shirt and a coffee cup. Here's the T-shirt.
She upside down. There we go.
You got a T-shirt. So that is in my bio. What else? I also consult and for public relations and marketing. I have two clients. One is Storm. She is with Black Girl Tired Book Talk, and she has a lot going on. So make sure that you follow Storm on all her socials. So the socials that I named for me, she has as well. Oh, also we're on. Both of us are on YouTube. So make sure you like and subscribe. The more we can do on YouTube and we can monetize, it goes back into our businesses so that we can do more for you. What else do we have? So I will be at several events. So this year, the events that I'm going to is Chicago, the Boozy Book Tour in Chicago. I will be there October 16th and 17th, I think. Whatever that weekend is, I'll be there. I will be podcasting live from there as well. They also have other stops. They have Raleigh in May. They have Virginia in July, Chicago in October, and then 2026, they have the Melanin Ball in Las Vegas. I will be there.
Ooh.
That's where the grown folks is coming to play. It's a pajama jam, and we will be in pajamas all weekend, cutting the rug, doing the things. What else? What else? What else? So I'll also be in LA in April of 2026 at the Black Author Takeover in Los Angeles. The location is to be announced later, but it's April of 2026. It's a denim and Converse theme. It's a 2-day event, I believe. So author Shelley P will be putting on that event, and I will be there too. Also, I'll be in New York at the Jacquel J event. I forgot what it's called. Charge my head, not my heart. But I will be there in July of 2026. So those were all the events that I'm going to. Also, I also do work for author Sharice C. Carr. She has a new book coming out in May. She has if you're looking to be part of her street team or her art team, please DM me and I can direct you to her where you need to go. And I think that's it for today. Thank you, little
Thank
Miss
you.
Lamb.
Thank you so
I
much,
appreciate
Nicole.
you.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you having me on and give me a chance to talk about my books. And again, I'm just grateful to always speak to you. And I'm not going to lie, you are not exaggerating in the slightest when you say booked and busy, because you just named a whole schedule and you are busy. But I hope you have safe travels, and I just hope that everything that you're doing is just as good and wonderful, put together the way you like it, because I know you're working so hard. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. So you guys, Dee Dee, I will get you a sweatshirt. Don't worry about it. I will
Hi, Mom.
get you a hoodie. So anyway, you guys have a good night. Thank you again, and happy reading, y'all. Bye.